The Lamborghini Countach has always held a special place in the hearts of many petrolheads. Its bold looks and great performance made it the poster car of choice for the 1970s, and it has since become a classic model. Recently, Lamborghini unveiled a new Countach for the 2021 year, and it's absolutely awesome. It's also worth $2 million, making it one of the most expensive cars in the company's lineup. In this video, we'll detail everything you need to know about the new Lamborghini LPI 804, from performance to pricing. So let's get started. The exterior design of the original Countach was perhaps its most alluring feature. Aware of this, Lamborghini has given the LPI 804 striking resemblance to the 1970s model, although there are a few differences. The most recognizable similarity is the wedge-shaped bonnet. This was one of the original Countach's best features, and it's great to see the design being implemented on a modern vehicle. The LPI 804 also shares the clean taper to the rear. Another similarity is the distinct lack of a rear wing or aerodynamic spoiler. Implementing this would have increased the LPI 804's performance, but it would have also taken away from the design. It's great to see the company respecting their roots and opting for nostalgia over performance. The LPI 804 has dramatic scissor doors, which feature even sharper edges than the original model. This makes the LPI 804 even more ludicrous in design, which we absolutely love. The Countach was actually the first Lamborghini to feature scissor doors. The rear also shares resemblance with the original Countach. The LPI 804 features 4 exhaust tailpipes, hexagonal triple-element light clusters, and a louvered engine cover. Noticeable differences include bigger door intakes. Of course, these intakes are necessary to get air to the huge engine, but they do somewhat take away from the LPI 804's resemblance to the Countach. The body panels are also made from a more modern carbon fiber. One thing we'll miss dearly is the pop-up headlights. The LPI 804 will be fitted with more modern and more effective LEDs, but you can't beat the style and swagger of old pop-ups, which will forever look great. Other modern features include movable 3D printed air vents as well as photochromic roof panels, which are capable from changing from transparent to opaque. Lamborghini realized this statement in regard to these features. Despite its historic inspiration, the Countach is a future automotive screensaver for the 21st century. In terms of coloring, Lamborghini is offering a mix between old and new. Buyers can opt for contemporary colors like Giallo and Impact White, or try a modern palette with options like Viola Pacife and Blue Uranus. Ultimately, we think that Lamborghini has done an excellent job with the LPI 804 styling. It's a great blend between old and new, and while the LPI 804 is certainly a throwback to the Countach, the styling is different enough to give the model a unique taste. The LPI 804 is based closely on the Aventador, and the interior design reflects this. The whole interior is covered in red leather and carbon fiber, making for an aggressive and modern design. There's also the signature detail instrument cluster, as well as an 8-inch digital touchscreen, but we'll touch more on that later. The interior certainly isn't practical, and space can be pretty tight if you're tall, but Lamborghinis aren't meant to be a daily driver, and the interior is overall a great design. The LPI 804 is surprisingly bigger than the original Countach. For example, the LPI 804 is 29 inches longer than the original model, as well as 14.9 inches wider and 2.8 inches higher. The wheelbase is also 10 inches bigger, at 106.3 inches. Side by side, the original Countach looks like a scale model of the LPI 804. Everything about the modern Countach is bigger, from the dimensions to the intakes to the engine. Some people love this about the LPI 804, while others are not convinced. The LPI 804 shares the majority of its mechanical components with the Lamborghini Scion. The overall performance is staggering and makes the LPI 804 even more entertaining. Let's start with power. The LPI 804 comes equipped with a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine, producing an insane 769 brake horsepower. Coupled with this is a 33 horsepower electric motor which is powered by a supercapacitor. This setup allows the LPI 804 to accelerate from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds and reach a top speed of 220 miles per hour. This makes the LPI 804 one of the best performing Lamborghinis, and it's certainly an upgrade over the original Countach. This power is sent to all 4 wheels via a single clutch gearbox. This setup has been used on the Aventador and works like an absolute charm. The grip is particularly good, especially when you consider the lack of aerodynamics at the rear. The LPI 804 will also come with pushrod suspension and rear-wheel steering. further helping the vehicle to handle all of that power. Although, the suspension does give the LPI 804 a pretty firm ride, which makes driving uncomfortable. This problem does get better as you drive faster though, which does give you an excuse to break the speed limit at least. With all that power, you might expect the LPI 804 to come with a decent set of brakes, and you'd be correct. The brakes are incredible and can take you from hundreds of miles per hour to a stop in seconds. The LPI 804's steering is respectable. In fact, you can fully lock each way in just 2.1 turns. The turning circle is respectable too at 12.5 meters, although the vehicle can suffer from harsh understeer. This is most notable during high-speed bends, where staying on the racing line can become very hard business. Virtually all of the LPI 804's interior tech is borrowed from the Aventador. There's a digital instrument cluster at the center of the cabin, which houses everything from the AC to the engine start key. There's also an 8-inch portrait infotainment touchscreen resting above the instrument cluster. There's nothing wrong with the design, but it does feel a little dated, especially in a car that costs so much. It does at least come with a sat-nav and the ability to connect your phone. There's also a design function, which will run you through the history of the Countach. This is actually pretty interesting and a nice interior feature. The LPI 804's rear visibility is extremely poor. Luckily though, the vehicle comes with a rear camera to help with parking and maneuvering, and will help prevent expensive bumps and scrapes. Ultimately, the interior technology in the LPI 804 does feel a little sparse. Sure, you don't buy a Lamborghini for the best touchscreen on the market, but the interior just feels a little empty, and we think the company could have done a better job. Only 102 LPI 804s were made. Because of its exclusivity, the LPI 804 is one of the most expensive supercars on the market. Base models cost $2 million. The company also offers a Centro Stile special trim. As of today, all LPI 804s have been sold. If you're looking to buy one, you'll have to look on a second-hand market. The LPI 804 received mixed opinions upon release. Some were in love with the design, whereas others weren't so convinced. Generally, those who like the model see the LPI 804 as a throwback to the Countach in the modern age. They like the modern updates around the design and performance and don't see the vehicle as a disrespect to the original model. On the other hand, those that don't like it see it as disrespectful to the Countach's legacy. They find the updates to the styling don't work, and the past should be left untampered so as not to ruin the Countach. Ultimately, the LPI 804 is certainly one of the most controversial models that Lamborghini has released. Those who love it really love it, and those who hate it despise it with the same intensity. It's always interesting to hear different perspectives too, and a controversial car always gets the community talking. So that's everything you need to know about the Lamborghini Countach LPI 804. At $2 million, it's one of the most expensive Lamborghinis you can buy. It's also one of the most exclusive and controversial. Some people are in love with the LPI 804 and believe it to be a fresh take on an older model, while others think that the design is a disrespect to the Countach. Styling aside, there's no denying that the LPI 804 is an exciting car. With all that power and decent handling, it could rival most other supercars on the roads today.